Coming up on news, the central region town of Fete on full lockdown as traditional warriors enforce curfew imposed as a result of the death of the Fete chief. We have more as residents complain of hunger. And on the classroom project, we hear from some parents and pupils at Bremang Jamra who are sitting on tenterhooks over fears of an imminent collapse of the DA Basics School. More as they await your help to reconstruct that weak school block. Also, residents of Sepe, Wusu, Ansan, and Mushi Zongo cry for assistance to fix a major bridge linking both communities after portions were eroded by recent floods. We have business and sports all in this hour. I'm Israelite. Just stay tuned in. The Federation of Muslim Women's Association of Ghana, FOMWA, has called on for the early completion of the Amanfrom Prisons Rehabilitation Center in the Ashanti region to aid the proper reintegration of inmates into society. Construction of the project began 7 years ago, but has been left to rot under bad weather. It is also a breeding ground for reptiles and other small creatures. The Federation believes completion of the center will equip inmates to be useful to society. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin has more.
It will take quite a lot of people because putting all the units together at any time, any point in time, you have not less than 50 inmates being engaged in the vocational training at any point in time. So as they come and go.
Authorities say they relied on corporate bodies, including the Catholic Church, and donations over the years to start the project. The project is about 50% complete, but there are no more funds to complete it.
So far, the total
Commander at the Amanfrom Camp Prison, Assistant Director of Prisons Francis Yelpo, says the completion of the center is of paramount interest to the prisons.
That we may do warehousing of the inmates. Somebody comes in for 5 years, he stays here. At the end of the 5 years, he goes out. He hasn't acquired any, he hasn't learned any new thing. But if we have this in place, before you come out, you would have developed interest in something, if not agric, farming of crops and rearing of animals. You have a vocational skill that you have the interest that you can train in.
ADP Yelpo says authorities are working relentlessly to change the narrative by not only housing people but also training them to learn a trade. He calls on individuals, religious organizations and philanthropies to assist them complete the project.
Soliciting for support, individuals, churches, or any organization that can support us. If we get any form of support, we are not interested in the money per se, but materials. Because at times people are not convinced that you use the money for the purpose it has been donated. But we are saying, come with the materials for us. We have the men who will work with the materials.
The law mandates the prisons to ensure safety, custody, and welfare of inmates as well as rehabilitate them. After donating food among items, Federation of Muslim Women's Association of Ghana, FOMWA, urges the public to support the completion of the project. The group believes the project, once completed, will help provide many inmates with relevant skills which will keep them busy after serving their prison terms. Ashanti Region President of the Federation, Kabirat Ahmed Salis, observes many of the inmates would not have landed in prison if they were in gainful employment.
If the inmate made with skill, so that if somebody is jailed for like 1 year or 5 years or 2 years, the person will have something doing, will get a skill. You learn how to, you learn crop farming, you learn animal farming, you learn this, you learn that, so you get a skill. But we have diverse passions as individuals, okay? So they thought of putting up this building to construct a rehabilitation center or a vocational center where people who want to learn sewing, who want to learn IT skills, basic IT skills, baking, whatever, whatever, they can learn all these there. And the structure is there. And we can also, so I'd like to, from WAG Ashanti, Federation of Muslim Women's Association in Ashanti region, we will look into it, how best we can help them. But by this, we are also inviting the general public to also come to their aid. Whatever little thing, now they need roofing, they need ceiling, they need plastering, whatever they can also do to help. Because this is the little we can do, giving back to the community.
Kabirat says it is the responsibility of Ghanaians to ensure the center is completed.
The government is in for our good. Do you get? The government is in for our good. And if it wasn't for limited resource, I believe the government would have done something about it. So it is something that we are inviting the government cannot do it all. It has been there. According to them, the project has been there for a number of years now. So they started this project. And it is something that 50%, almost any good person out there who has something, is definitely a project to go into. Because according to them, they need, I think, about 15,000 Ghana cedis to complete the roofing. And we are in rainy season. The wood is going bad. So I think I would like to plead to the general public, not only the government. We will plead with the government to look into this and complete this project. But we would like to also entreat the general public, whatever little that anybody has, to come to their aid.
Until the rehabilitation center is completed, inmates will continue to leave the prison with little or no skill for their proper reintegration into society. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
Residents living within the Sepe, Usuansan and Moshi Zongo communities in the Ashanti region are hardest hit by flooding that washed away one side of the approaches filing off the only bridge connecting the two areas. The sub-chief of Sepe, Usuansan, Nana Dapa, fears the situation could worsen the academic potentials of the children as they either go to school late or stay at home after every downpour. Residents want the bridge fixed to curb the situation. Join News' Mahmoud Nuruddin again reports.
That
has been the nature of the bridge right from the beginning. It is too small that it can't contain all running water when it rains. Therefore, the water overflows into people's houses.
Narrow gully but now turned into large and deep one. Life becomes miserable here whenever there is torrential rain. This bridge was constructed about 10 years ago to help residents cross each side of the communities. Initially, residents used this bridge to each side of the community, but now one side of the approach's failing has been washed away, so no resident can cross to each side of the community when it rains.
When it rains, our children can't go to school and we can't also cross to the other side. We want the government to take a second look at the bridge and reconstruct.
Located between Sepebokrom and Mosizongo, it poses danger to both children and adults. Several children living within the Sepewusansa and Mosizongo communities bear the brunt as they struggle to go to school anytime it rains.
As you can see, when we experience a downpour, flooding always takes place, which in fact it distracts our attendance of schools. And the water too, as you know, the water is a water of river, so when the water is flowing, it is contaminated. We can't pass through the water. In fact, if you jog, it will even take you away.
And it affected us if we are coming to school. Sometimes, if it rains, it will be flooded. We cannot pass unless we went another way before we can go and cross it.
The situation is affecting the academic activities of school children. They lament that some of their mates have dropped out of school.
Some drop out from school due to the water.
You miss lessons when you come late, and also being absent from school also it's not necessary. Because of this bridge, I have experienced that most of our students have stopped attending this school and they've dropped out to different schools because of being absenteeism and the rest, and the destruction of the water.
According to residents, about 3 people have lost their lives to severe floods.
BSC, by 2-3 times.
It has even happened before, about 2 or 3 times. It always occurs whenever it rains heavily.
Sometimes it's me to I told you some of the nets be. Bibia call after saying so no better channel who had your shibia. Sometimes also last time crab baby, a penny for 3 days and the Muson Mokohania to Subasa.
Nana Dapa is the sub-chief of Sepe Owusu Ansa.
This is now a death trap to children and even adults.
Community folks have decided to place stones, ties, and other items to aid crossing, but when the water level is high, it becomes irrelevant.
And every day they make sure that they build some path for us to be able to go. But when it's rain, you won't even see this. All this will be drawn away unless the residents come in to build a path for us to pass on.
Teachers and residents appeal to government, benevolent individuals, and other organizations to come to their aid. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
Said Breman Jamra are sitting on tenterhooks for fear another disaster could claim the lives of the children who are learning in very deplorable schools. Memories of the 6 KG pupils killed 4 years ago when their school building collapsed on them would not let them sit and look on for another incident. As for the pupils, the cracks in the walls and the eroded foundation of their classroom blocks are enough to discourage them from going to school. It's for these reasons that pupils and parents are intensifying the appeal to you to support them reconstruct their school block under the classroom project. Some of them have been speaking with Joy News.
My name is Gifty Odro. Our school building is in a bad shape. There are deep cracks weaving through our blackboards. When our teachers write on the board, we can't even see the letters clearly. We desperately need your help. My child was one of the children that died that day after the school building collapsed. I recall that morning when I was bathing her. She said, "Mommy, I don't want to go to school today." I told her I was going to the farm and wouldn't get anyone to take care of her. I didn't even go to the farm anymore. I was home when I received information that the school building had collapsed on my child. Oh, in fact, I was very sad. She was 5 years old and my only daughter. She always said she wanted to be a doctor. I have been to the school and it is still in a bad state. I don't want this incident to happen again. So we are appealing to everyone to come to our aid. My name is Naomi Ijakwa. School building is dilapidated, so we are appealing for a new school block so we can concentrate on our learning. When it rains, we can't even learn. My name is Isiapia. I support the classroom project. We don't want that accident that made us lose our children to occur again. We have a DA school, which is also in a bad state. I'm appealing to everyone to support the classroom project so we can get a new classroom block.
amasa atorenchem na biomantu.
For all the cement bags, iron rods and chippings, you can support them with send your Momo transactions to the number 059-303-8832 or Access Bank account number 009-010-105-4191. The Central Region town of Fete is on a full lockdown over a curfew imposed as a result of the death of the chief of the town. Schools, markets, churches and many other social centers are shut and people are required to stay indoors or be attacked by the warriors who are enforcing the curfew. Many are running out of food and water after days of lockdown. Kofi AJ of Adom FM joins us live with more. Good morning to you, Kofi. So what's the situation in the town as we speak?
As I was speaking, the majority of the people residing on the Gomwa Fete land. When we are talking about Gomwa Fete land, it comes from Gomwa Fete, Budumbram, Fete Kakraba, a lot of communities under this stew. And majority of them, and the whole communities are it's like almost like lockdown because there's no commercial activities, neither selling or buying. You cannot buy food, you cannot sell anything. So majority of them are in serious crisis, and they don't even know what to eat and what to buy. You can't even get water to buy. Even water, you can't get even sachet water to buy. So but all of them, the whole communities are in their various rooms. They can't even come out because if you come out, you don't know what you're not going to do anything. And you see, the Ghanaians, majority of Ghanaians depend on what they sell in the belly because they depend on their belly sales. And you want commercial activities, but it affects everybody.
What's the nature of the curfew? Between which times is the curfew operating?
It's not a curfew, but what they are saying is that we have done commercial activity. And these areas, they all depend on daily sales because a lot of their stores, containers, and their shops. So when you ban commercial activity, it's almost like a lockdown.
And for how long is this lockdown supposed to be imposed?
It will end Sunday. According to the traditional council, they say it will end on Sunday. So after Sunday, they can go to their normal business. But for now, it started from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and tomorrow, because they'll bury the kids tomorrow around maybe 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. as the customary demand. So from Wednesday to Sunday, it's about 5 days now.
All right. Thank you very much, Kofi AJ. But let's now listen to some of the affected residents.
Yeah, man, Ama, is a watcher, almost a movie on Tonga, Adrian Green, Yabini Atoedi. And a master on combat Tonga, the Ama Yanabia Tokofi and Swa, almost more Munya Juma. A monton, or be a meal store. Into my foul Helmupa, Yamantemoha. Because you need him. Ebi ane se mo ba na menu anu ka se ofre adwuma ba anko wonim nti no yesire se mo de bekwa na mpanfo no free na akosi Monday started Thursday akosi Monday di anu ye de maye omonte so maye pa
yakofa ni ma na sam kofa na 15 million me nton ba kokora me de metua me loan papa me sra yesire o ka kire ye ne nim say 4 days 5 days o ka kire ye nim say memenda and I say Friday to Saturday and Sunday I say the 5 days ni yakoi e be ne den yesre on pa on twon wani mehwe ye kakra
sesi ani enu sesi omo motum bojo atin wo fom no em se omo mra na yenye bi nto sesi ama komo asika mbo ha beble nyama no krapo wo de ba na langa the boys no aba se enwa na e ka se beto na omo obubu omo pamo ente mra ya hye ama nyama beble ase ese endra wo ma bi oton dokron wo big apple domo egu no ho no nyipa more than 50 in egu no ho nanso obeye ne den wo ne hwe a obeka ama asemi ama endra wo ma bi kofa salmon no oton wie na osa kofa am no otutu no krapo am bi na odi besi a we did 20 minutes ni nyina asa ene mma yo mo ba mo taletale ho no mo to ade nti ama ohaw ne de ye fa bi mu ohaw ne de ye fa bi mu arokware ohaw ne de ye fa bi mu nti mo ntabi ye na mo ye bibi fa wa anka ye beda mo ase
camp say kwa ye ka camp say na ba bebre aye fem ye se e ma ye mpie e ma ye ndidwa sisa okoto nyama kwa uni bebi a woto nyama uba ku ejuma kwa uni se na uye we ejuma nketenkete kwa uni se na tunu size ye ntu amanyama se poto ka pre kwa odi ba kwa handan po ebi ni wo we se uye da kwa handan nti ahu kire na e ba no de bia ahu kire wo nketenkete sa de we uni bia ukwa he market akwa enye papa bia uto nyama ene kwa uba market unya hwe yete so mu ha wa ane no market say bibia say
mo mbeba go mu afeta abana na abore ya mo aye ni se yesro mo aye moto no ba ja moto no ofie o ba so na du na na ko ofie abetimi apake hope college obetimi ade awura baabi no apake ehia moto bia wo krom ha ana budumbro market market kese ewo fete asase so nyanya no kakraba market ewo fete asase so CP kumbe na ho ne fe no pekuma junction ni nyina no yempese obi abebi store from yawada efiada memenda wa bebi store no de asanfoba ni namu obi fa wade a embramu ti atra magana police ya de amaye DC e de ama obi bia so obi bowura so mu be ye obone a memfa mbehye fetempenifo bia na abore ya ma okwa akura asem kakra me wo ka kire market for ne ade tonfo yesro bia so oba se manifetu a ekuni panchem ye wo boba life ye gunpowder wa oba na ohia bia uhu ya safu supia obema bi na de ahye abobam utuom na wato asem a ye ka kire oman ni nyina no ene ga na nyina ye da mase
media for yahwe for yetie for ye beda obi biara ase na mom na abore ya moa nkrachi a okọ akura eho eyie na ye sha ase enura se ye start a ye gya ne kwan enura na ye de ne ba afie ye de ne bedu fie anopa ye de na tumpem a odampem a sesi a ye gusu a ye jam no ana banbo ho nso nsem a wa ha no aprosifo a omowo ye potemu ha a sesi a ye wo police region a ye friend no Central East the regional commander any na bedi chifo a omudi na chi any omonkola na banbo gu na kwem fefefe omo sha ase se omo ba banbo wa ha ebrada ye twemu no omo sha ase day and night aprosifo ejina baby bebre a sesi a ye guso a ye koi boni bi ensi baby a na enim so se aprosifo de banbo nsem agu na kwan mu pepepe no ye be ye na wi a boni bi a ensi na se nana boy ya mo a na oyego mo afetehin a okọ akura no ye gya ne kwan ye hyase enra ye de na tumpem anopei ye be obeda mpema kosi memenda.
We're taking a break here on News Desk. To stay tuned, we'll be back in a bit. Former Energy Minister Boakye Jakun has dismissed claims that his monetary contributions during the regional conferences is an attempt to induce and court the support of the delegates during the impending flag bearership race of the MPP. According to him, the move is a continuation of a tradition he began some 3 decades ago. The aspiring presidential candidate since the beginning of the MPP's regional delegates conference has committed 10,000 cedis to each of the 16 regions. Well, he's not the only one. Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has also committed 20,000 cedis to each region and 2,000 cedis to the 275 constituencies. Reacting to the claims of vote buying, the former campaign manager of the NPP said he has no intention of monetizing the race. He spoke with my colleague Chrissy Parker-Wilson.
My contribution to this party did not start today. It started way back in 1992. You can ask the likes of Honorable Hackman, who was treasurer then, right? From 1992, I have not withdrawn my hand from this party. So if the party needs something today, and in continuation of the tradition of giving, I give that party, what does it?
And you've committed 10,000 to every region, 16 regions. Is it 10,000 to be just to be specific with amount?
And what is that? In politics, in the amount of resources required in our politics, what is 10,000 to a region? What is it? The people sitting here, they are T&T alone. You see, what you ought to be looking at is that is this person now, just from yesterday, contributing to the party? I'll say no. I have contributed to this party from its very beginning.
But my suspicion is that we've seen Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the vice president, donate 20,000, Alan Chairman to donate 10,000. So those who have said that clearly the flag bearership race of the NPP would be monetized.
I am not doing.
You agree?
Forget what others are doing. You're talking to me.
Right.
I am not doing this for any race. Right? When listen to me carefully. In 1992, when I was donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to this party, did anybody ask me what I was trying to influence? We're trying to build a party.
I see. So the upcoming internal race of the party will not be monetized because many said that you are setting the tone.
I will not monetize.
The candidates are setting
I
the
will
tone.
not monetize it. Win or lose, I will continue to support this party, as I have done from its beginning. It has been my practice for 30 years to be doing this. So don't worry about somebody. If somebody wants to monetize the race, that's their choice. That's their choice.
But do you envisage that? Looking at the money that is flying around?
That is not my interest. That is not my focus. I have served this party loyally for 30 years. And all I ask is for a just reward. If they so choose, I'll say God bless them. If they say no, that is the choice they have to make.
Assembly members of the Nkranza North District of the Bono East region are calling on the newly confirmed District Chief Executive of the area to work towards improving the poor road networks in the district. They made this call after 26 of the 37 members of the Assembly voted in favor of the President's nominee during a confirmation process at the Assembly's conference hall in Busunya. Correspondent Nana Sabit has been speaking with some of the Assembly members and came through with the following report.
Some Assembly members in the Nkranza North District of the Bono East region are calling on the newly confirmed District Chief Executive of the area to work towards improving the road network within the district. They say the poor road network of the area is largely hindering development of the entire district. Osenya Meche Binai is the Assembly member for Boabin Fiema, Amiakrom and Yinahi electoral area.
When you come to Nkranza North, our major or main problem is our roads. The road network within the Nkranza North enclave is very, 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 very bad. For the past 4 years, we've not had even 1 kilometer of asphalt. So we expect him to talk to his government to come out with contractors to be on the road soon as possible.
He further called on the DCE to lobby for the establishment of a district hospital, as access to healthcare has over the years been one of the major challenges facing the people.
We also expect him to get to the president in order for us to get our agenda 111. Nkransa North is a newly elected. We are just about 14 years or 15 years. So we are expecting him to go and lobby for us to get ours as earlier as possible, because in Nkransa North we are having 99 communities and we don't have a single hospital.
For the assemblyman for Juniho, Nipa Nyamwa and Asuti electoral area, Bada Kofi John, another major concern of the people had to do with poor educational structures, which according to him is affecting teaching and learning in the area.
Most of our communities are not having better education facilities, especially my community, Asuti Nipa Nyamwa, are communities who are suffering from better classrooms. So we are also expecting the new DC to use his office to help people of such communities to get an educational facility that is in terms of a better classroom, so that we can also have our young one to climb the educational ladder.
He charged the DCE to also work on extending electricity to other parts of the district to improve the living conditions of the people.
Since 1998, most of our communities that have electricity have not had any expansion or extension. So we are pleading on him to use this office to work vividly so that most communities who don't have electricity will have the level.
The new DC, Peter Oseifusu, who polled 26 out of 37 valid votes during the confirmation processes, promised to champion road projects coupled with other developmental projects within the Nkransa North district.
The need of Nkransa North is our roads. The roads are in very deplorable condition. So we work with the sector minister and all stakeholders to ensure that our roads are in shape. Apart from that, with human beings, the population keeps on increasing. So we also need to add to those areas provision of water, schools, hospitals, and also human capital development for our youth.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Busunya.
Now to bring you business news, stay tuned in.
Hello and welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Timber contractors have been asked to abide by their contractual obligation to supply a percentage of wood products to the domestic market. Local wood artisans have complained of challenges in accessing lumber to meet the needs of consumers. Now, Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, John Alote, observes failure of timber firms to supply the local market gives rise to illegalities such as chainsaw lumbering. He was addressing a stakeholders meeting in Sefiruaso in the Western North region.
The domestic timber market has become a hub for illegal timber trade. Chainsaw lumbering has been associated with the supply of illegal wood to the domestic market. Municipal Chief Executive for Sefiruaso, Louis Owusu Ejapon, observed local artisans in the Western North region have often struggled to get raw materials for their works. He appealed to the visiting Forestry Commission Chief Executive, John Alote, to help address the situation.
Day in, day out, they complain about raw material to do their businesses and operations. Most of the sawmills and the firms around, the legally operating ones, normally do for either external exports or local exports. And the artisans here find them very difficult to get the woods to do their activities. So if there could be a way out to make life a bit bearable for the local artisans and for local consumption too as well. But that is the genuine concerns they have also been expressing almost on a daily basis.
The Timber Resource Management and Legality Licensing Regulations 2017 gives the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, in consultation with the Forestry Commission, the power to direct a timber utilization contract holder to to supply timber products to the domestic market with specified volume, dimension, or species. The Forestry Commission says, though it has in some instances allocated some compartments specifically to feed local wood demands, the contractors in turn divert the produce to markets in Burkina Faso and Mali. John Aloti is the chief executive.
Most of you receive compartments, you receive concessions, and then it is clearly stated that you are supposed to supply, some amount of your products to the local, market, local carpenters, people who need wood. If they want to roof, they should be able to buy some of the wood. We have tried at some time to even allocate compartments specifically for people to produce to the local market. But what they do is that they produce to Burkina Faso and Mali rather than producing for our local people.
According to Mr. Aloti, the practice of timber merchants failing to honor their contractual obligations promotes illicit wood trade. He wants a shift from the practice.
If all that we produce, we take them out of the region here, the chances are that those who need wood, who would not want to go to Kumasi or Angloga to go and buy wood, they would be impacting negatively on your resources. They will be cutting the trees, whether it belongs to you or not. They will be doing that. So we need to go back to what we said we would do. We have to supply a portion of the material to the local market.
From Seyoso in the Western North region, Ohim Interior reporting.
All right, let's move on and talk about mental health. It's estimated that poor mental health costs the nation 7% of our gross domestic product. Now, according to Chief Caregiver at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, Dr. Pinaman Apau, inadequate attention is given to mental health in organizations despite its negative impact on productivity.
In general, the contribution to the national economic growth is actually influenced by its mental health components. And that we should also note that basically it depends on the various disorders. Studies have shown that loss of productivity from the two most common disorders, and that is anxiety and depression, cost the global economy about $1 trillion every year. And that's when you put the total poor mental health together, the cost to the world economy was actually about $2.5 trillion per year. And they've actually projected that this figure would rise to about $6 trillion in 2030. Some studies have estimated that about 41% of Ghanaians would have one form or the other of psychological distresses. And this 41% of the psychological distress actually costs us about 7% of our GDP loss.
All right, and that's business news for you for now. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business, including GMPC acquiring 7% commercial interest in Jubilee and 10 blocks from Occidental Petroleum, and international passenger arrivals hitting close to 132,000 in Q2, according to statistics from the Bank of Ghana. Check it out, myjoyonline.com/business. Up next.
Right, it's time for sports, and this morning on sports we're talking swimming. Muftar has joined me. Muftar was just telling me that apparently we have a swimming pool at the Bukum Boxing.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Oh, it's the Trans Emporium. We have so many facilities in there. We have, apart from the boxing arena, we also have a side for swimming. They're also constructing basketball courts, indoor courts for volleyball and all that. So we have all those things within the arena, yes. So many people actually think that it's just boxing that's happening, yeah. because the boxing arena hosts a lot of competitions. People actually think that it's only the boxing that happens over there, but we have a swimming pool there, an international standard pool for that matter.
This is impressive.
It's an Olympic-sized pool, yes.
So there's a competition?
Yes, and that is the continental swimming competition. It's called the Kana. This is the 14th edition, and Ghana is hosting it. Last year, Ghana hosted the Zone 2 competition, which was only for countries within the West Africa region. And this time around, they gave us the opportunity to host the the rest of the continent. So 40 countries are here, 250 swimmers are here, and Ghana has won its first medal from this gentleman, Abeku Jackson. He won bronze medal for us yesterday, and though we have 16 swimmers in there, the unfortunate thing is that we've not been able to pick up. Most of our hopes were reliant on Abeku Jackson because of the times he clocked at the Tokyo Olympics, but unfortunately he dropped his time when it matters most for us, and he won just bronze.
Okay, but it's interesting that we're having this Bukom International Pool somewhere at Bukom, which is also close to the sea. And the fishermen are known
to be very good swimmers.
To be very good swimmers. Except it's not the kind of swimming that...
It's not the kind of swimming that we do here. Here we do the backstroke, the butterfly, and all the freestyle. So I'm not sure this is the type of swimming. Maybe their swimming is purposely to go underwater and catch fishes, but here we swim to win.
No. It's not just about going underwater to catch fishes. Because we have some very good swimmers. Jamestown, Bukom, and the rest.
I actually think that if the people will be willing to open it up, most of the kids around the area should be able to use this facility to get themselves ready and learn how to swim. I do know that most of the swimmers train at the Burma camp just to keep themselves in shape and all that. But I think that if they open this facility and allow the swimmers to actually use it for their training purposes, it will actually help.
Really? I mean, they can encourage the young ones in the community.
In the community, yes.
And they should train them as well.
The Ghana swimming coach, Abeku Jackson, he's been one man who has been preaching that we need to create avenues for young people to come into swimming. So
if I happen to have grown around a pool like this, I'm sure by now I'll be...
You'll be the Michael Phelps of Ghana.
Thank you very much, Mustafa, for bringing the sports. But you can stay tuning to the channel because we'll be bringing you updates on the competition all through the day. But that's it. My name is Israelite. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.